A fire lookout tower is a small glass room on tall legs, bolted to the top of a mountain, where a single person sits all summer and watches 100 square miles of forest for the first thread of smoke. I took the job the summer after I dropped out because I wanted to be alone, and there is no place on earth more alone than a lookout. Your nearest neighbor is another tower 40 miles away. Your only link to the world is a radio. You are trained to make a check-in call every day at noon to report your conditions so that if you ever stop calling, they know to come looking. For the first 3 weeks, it was the best I had ever felt. The silence up there is total, a silence with a texture to it. I watched the sun cross the sky and the storms build in the west, and I felt myself uncoil. Then, in the 4th week, the radio started talking to me at night. It began as a voice on the emergency channel, faint, garbled, the kind of thing you assume is another lookout or a ranger truck in a valley. It would come through around 3 in the morning, when the channel should have been dead. At first I could not make out words, just the shape of speech rising and falling. I keyed my mic and asked who was there. Nobody answered. But the next night the voice was clearer. And I realized with a slow cold horror what it was doing. It was repeating me. Not live. It was playing back things I had said days earlier on my noon check-in calls. My own voice, reciting my conditions report, the wind speed, the visibility, but chopped and rearranged into new sentences I had never spoken. It said, in my voice, visibility is 0, the smoke is inside. It said, in my voice, I am not alone in the tower. It was building sentences out of my own words, learning how I talk, practicing. I stopped sleeping. I kept the radio on because I was afraid to turn it off, afraid of what it might do if it thought I was not listening. Each night the voice got better, smoother, until it did not sound like a recording anymore. It sounded like me sitting in the room with me talking. And it started to ask me things. It would say, in my own easy voice, why do you not make your noon call today? It would say, you sound tired, you should sleep. I can make the call for you. And I understood what it wanted. It wanted me to stop calling. It wanted me to let it make the noon check-in in my voice so that the rangers 40 miles away would hear me, healthy and normal, reporting clear skies day after day, while I was up here with whatever this was, and no one would ever come. Because the only thing that brings anyone to a lookout tower is the silence of a radio that has stopped. And it had learned to make sure my radio would never go silent. Last week I made a mistake. I was so exhausted that at noon I keyed the mic and I could not remember if I had already called. And a voice answered me on the channel, cheerful, competent, my own voice, and it said, do not worry, I already made the call for us today. They think everything is fine. I did not make that call. I have 21 days left in my contract. I have stopped using the radio entirely, which means the rangers are hearing a check-in from me every single day at noon, in my voice, telling them the forest is calm and green and safe, and I have no way to tell them that it is not me, that I have not spoken into that radio in 9 days, that I am sitting in a glass box on the top of a mountain writing this on the back of my conditions log because it is the only way I have left to say anything that is actually mine. If you are ever in the mountains this summer, and you see a lookout tower on a far ridge, and everything seems fine, the radio calm, the reports clear, please drive up anyway. Knock on the little door at the top of the stairs. And when whatever answer sounds completely, perfectly normal in a friendly human voice that is happy to see you, that is when you should be the most afraid. Because I have heard how good it is getting. And I do not think you will be able to tell the difference between the thing in the tower and the person it replaced.